Yeah, we just go on. I think everybody will just have to jump ahead and, or I edit that part out. Welcome to Suzanne Talks. Suzanne talks today to Sreedhar, who I met on Twitter. He's a successful author of two books, I think. I saw the samples as well. And okay, great. I just got it from the back office. Akhil said I'm online again and he can hear me. That's my husband, by the way. So, Sridhar, I met on Twitter and I wanted to ask him about his life because I read that you were a waiter once upon a time. You were working in a completely different field than what you're doing right now.
Thank you so much once again, and everyone. Hello. I was just sharing before we got disconnected that I'm not different from an average Indian story because there are millions of such stories. However, at times it is very important for us to share that story so that some people can actually take some iota of inspiration from that, and it will be a happy cause for us if we are the reason for somebody to think upon their approach towards the life. I come from a small hamlet, a family of six, four children. Due to certain situations, the family could not afford raising the four children. Four of us had to be sheltered by some of our benevolent cousins. So the life has been pretty much traumatic in terms of how four kids could not live together, especially when they're aware of the life, and it went on for a very long time. But there was a time when my elder brother, who I consider is the sole and prime reason for my emergence of whatever I am today, is a real leader. That he thought he must really take the baton on, and he became the torchbearer for our family to bring the family out of the clutches of the poverty. And thanks to him, that time I thought, okay, I was not very good at studies, thanks to many reasons, including my apathy towards education. And I've started doing those random jobs that includes waiting at the tables, selling milk packets on the streets, working at a poultry shop as a daily laborer. And all these random jobs went on for quite some time, almost 6, 7, 8 years. I think these random jobs went on. But my
What
brother had a
changed?
sorry.
What changed? What changed actually? Because if you were like apathic about your education and everything, what was there this one moment, or was it a period of time that made you decide to change your life?
Well, I think when you have a certain experience, you'll be able to tell that the change does not occur all at once. Things change very organically, despite you want to push so much. Things doesn't change as the speed that you really wish or covet. In my case as well, things have been moving pretty slow. I started as a assistant waiter in the Taj group of hotels, and then I was also doing a part-time job of waiting. I mean, selling the milk packets or selling chicken in a poultry shop. But one thing was, there was something always called a passion calling. I knew that I wanted to become a CEO in future. How, I didn't know how to go about it. I didn't know. I knew very well that I was not good at studies. I failed my under college very terribly. I cannot even explain you how terribly that I failed in the under college. So with all these things, I really did not know how do I go there. But there was one thing that I was very much sure that I wanted to do things in a very big manner. But for all this, I think I always drew inspiration from my elder brother, who always felt that I had it in me. So the rule number one is find somebody who believes in you, because that is a life changing, the phase of your life. Until and unless you find somebody to tell you constantly, despite your shenanigans, tantrums, or failures, somebody to stand behind you and say that Sridhar or Suzanne or XYZ, you are capable of doing some greater things. The moment you have somebody like that, I think that is the beginning of a different life.
Very true, very true. I can just like yeah, put three exclamation marks behind it.
Thank you. So in my case, I was so lucky to have that person in my elder brother, who is actually his short name is BMR, but otherwise he was known as Murali. So Murali took the responsibility of becoming the torchbearer for the family. He literally took the family out of the clutches of the poverty, crushing poverty rather. And he had built reputation, he had built home, he had built asset, he had built everything. But importantly, he taught the family what is the importance of being together, one, and what are the benefits of being together. All the brothers, sisters, and everybody, whoever is part of the family, they must stay together. People might be wondering what an author or a CEO of a company is talking about family and the system of the family, because it is an utmost important thing for a family to stay together, because that gives an immense range of energy and the collaboration between the family members, because each comes with different strength, different outlook of the family, the life, that helps each other to build together. We always talk about the teamwork, office, corporate teamwork, but we never really pay attention about the teamwork at the family that happens. There is no better team member than your sibling. Believe me, this is out of my experience. I'm telling you,
Do
there
you think
cannot be a better than team member than your sibling.
do you think it has something to do with the very special bond that Indian families are having? I see this kind of a get together, hold together, work together. I see that more in this country, or maybe in Asian countries. I'm not so sure about other countries, but I see something here that I don't usually see in other countries. I mean, I come from a very supportive, very loving family. So I have that. I always had this, we don't understand why you want to be an actor, but go. Yeah. So they were there and they always were there for me and they always help. But it's rare. It's not like it doesn't happen all the time. Like I see this happening here a lot.
Yeah, luckily I worked with a German company for a good 4 years, so I know a bit of a German culture. I worked with Germans for that good 4 years, and Germans are one among the very very close knitted families. They are like, they spend a lot of time and they value and care about their family. They give a lot of time. This is my experience with Germans.
Fan not no
Similarly
fan.
with
Sorry, one
India,
second. On करना है बाहर ना है. I'm sorry. The fan was
that's
off.
okay.
Today is one of those
Similarly,
days. It's like, oh my god, everything is going haywire. I'm so sorry. चार number पे. Sorry. Thanks.
that's okay.
Okay. No, पांच नहीं है. बहुत loud है. चार. I want to die right now. I'm so sorry, Sridhar.
No,
There's
I
one.
think we are keeping it more natural. I think that's fine.
But I didn't want to I didn't want you to lose your train of thought. You said you had more like good experiences with Germans and seeing that they
Germans.
have this more, but maybe
So
because you met successful ones.
no, I mean I met quite a few from Germany, where I always felt there is a great bonding between the family members. Very important. And India, luckily, it has a culture. India, not only India but Asian, it has a culture that families are always bonded together. Some families, they bond really really extremely well. I think I will consider myself a fortunate one to have such a family, because maybe in our family case, because of the challenges we had in the earlier stage of the life, that has helped us see the bonding better when we were grown-ups, and that probably has helped us to stay together, because we had seen the tough times when we were very young. So I consider myself very lucky to belong to such a family. But my point is, we are not discussing whether somebody has a good family or not, but what I'm saying is, to anybody, try and develop a family with whatever the number of members that you have in the family. If you are together, if you because charity starts from the home. If you really want to be a successful leader outside, you've got to be a good leader inside the home. And good leaders are always good team members. And if you're a good family member, that actually helps us becoming a successful person outside. So in my case, Murali has helped us creating such an environment. We all gelled well because we all thought this is a great idea to be together. So we could build the empire together, which was much easier for us instead of going lonely. That really helped us building the family together to a better heights. So in my case, I think Murli has helped me. He said, enough. You have worked enough for the family. Now it is time for you to go back to school. So I think at the age of 26, 24, yeah, 26, I went back to school. I did my master's at that point in time. So 26 to 28, I did my master's. Until then, I was studying throughout private. I was paying my school fees, college fees, and I was doing my studies by private because I was working. I could not afford to go to college. Yeah, I mean that is a bit of background. Otherwise, I'm from a state called Andhra Pradesh, um, a city called Visakhapatnam, but we originally hail from a small village called Vantaram, a very small hamlet. But from there, we migrated to a near city called Visakhapatnam, or it is called as Vizag. So we have settled since then.
And when did you venture into book writing? I read a little bit of your books and it was very interesting. I will read more of it. I didn't have the time before, I'm sorry. But especially the signal wala one about the signals where you
Moment of
start
stillness.
talking to the, it starts so interestingly. It starts with this taxi driver and his story is very mesmerizing and I was like, wow, what a story and what people to meet. And when I look back, yes, these people are there and they exist, and you're very right, he is the first point of contact for anybody coming into the country. And
Exactly.
that is such a special thing to have. And the way that you took that story and then made this curve and brought it into the what pillars of success, what our topic is today actually, what kind of pillars of success you actually need to build yourself up to be successful. You want to elaborate on these pillars a little bit?
Yeah. Coming back to the story of the taxi drivers are very important in this story. If you see most of the Indian journalists, Indian authors, they always try and build a conversation with a taxi driver. Sometimes, so sometimes it is a cause of a troll by the, especially in the Twitter platform. But then a taxi driver, especially when you're jumping into a new city, new place, taxi driver is the first one who is in contact and who could create some opinion or appeal about the place that you're going into. Uh, but when it comes to the book of Moment of Signal, I this idea I was brooding, I think since 2013. I left India in 2003, early 2003. I left India. I went to Dubai first. I started working with a German company that I was talking about until 2007. This idea of book writing has come, I think, in 2013 because I used to always write articles. I had that flair. I knew that I was good at writing, both in my native language as well as in English. But then 2013, I started developing that story, Moment of Signal, which is more about collaboration and the choice of, the decision making, art of decision making. That's mainly that book is all about the decision making. So it took for about, I think, 5 years to complete the book, maybe 5, 6 years it took to complete the book. It got published in the year 2018, December. It was first published in United States. It got launched in the World Trade Center, New York City, in the month of December. Subsequently, it also got published in India in 2019 in the month of April. Fingerprint Publishing has taken up the job of publishing the book. So this book primarily I wanted to share the story of how I could actually make a life. This life I knew. I mean, I had gone through hardships. I've gone through those tough times, but I always found an easy way. That easy way is to tune yourself into the environment that you want to thrive in. For example, I met you on Twitter. Today we are talking, we are discussing a life on Twitter. We are sharing our life with our Twitterati. The reason why, how did this happen? It didn't happen by a chance. It didn't happen by an accident. There was a methodic approach from both the sides that finally we agreed. We felt there is a value of sharing this story with the public.
Yes.
So for everything, there is a way, there is an approach that you can take on, and you can keep pursuing that passion in your approach. If you can put some thought and effort into it, the world is going to help you. And the secret to be successful in life is how to get help from the world. But the question is, Suzanne, why will the world help you?
Yeah. I don't, that is not a common popular opinion that you're having here, because usually people are saying they are being fought against all over. They're constantly having resistance. And can you just talk about this a little bit more? Why would you say something like this? This is a
Yeah.
very, very interesting thing to say.
So, Suzanne, in life, by your own self, you cannot go anywhere, especially in career, in building your life. If you want to be successful, you got to have more energies around you, one. And you got to have more energies working for that common cause. If the common cause, for example, if I take an example of a company, if somebody is trying to build a company, the company means group of people who are working for a common cause. Why would these people work for that company? A, they are working for a salary.
Hmm.
B, they are working for some dignity.
Hmm.
C, they are working for some benefit which is going to be distributed in the common cause, whatever is the result from the common cause. So there are various degrees of benefits of somebody who is part of a company.
Okay.
But if a good leader is always making everybody part of the company, telling that we all are working for a cause, the target, the vision. Let us take the word called vision. And the leader is always telling you that you, and everyone who's working for the company or who's working for the common cause is going to benefit out of that vision. If you cannot create that shared purpose in the minds of the people who has to work for you, then those people will not work for you with mind and heart and spirit and body. They won't do that. So some work for the salary, some work for the dignity, some work for the honor, some work for the recognition, some work for the benefit from the
Mm.
common cause. Now, when I said you need to work very closely with the world, because you need to, in my case, Suzanne, I'll tell you some live example is that I was a waiter to begin with. I was a
Okay.
street vendor. But to come here, it is not my family who helped me come here in terms of expanding my career. My family has been always giving the moral strength for me to face the challenge.
Okay.
But it is with the people that I'm working with constantly. They saw some part of integrity in me. They saw
Mm.
there is a talent in this guy. They saw there is a potential in this guy. When people are noticing that there is a special trait and character and quality in this person, then those people will come give you a lot of opportunities. You need to create opportunities, one thing, but you need to bring the opportunity to you by your approach.
But that require that you know what is your strength. You have to be very self-aware. I don't know how much self-awareness is there in people.
Well, I think we are very clear. We are talking about people who are self-aware.
Yeah. Okay, so
Those who,
everybody in this chat who's not self-aware, you can shut now.
no, if you are not self-aware, then you see, people always say, Suzanne, that you need to know where you're going.
Yeah.
That is the basic self-awareness.
Mm.
If I'm getting into a train, I know that I'm going to Dadar.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, I just go climb a train and then do what? Where are we going?
So somebody who is looking for success and is listening to our chat or is reading a book is already on that track because she is aware of who he is. Okay, got it.
Two things, Suzanne: who she is or who he is today,
Mhm.
and who he she wants to become in future.
Okay, so you by reading books and being self-aware, you are planting the seeds, and then you're just living your life, and then you get help because of your qualities. Is that what I'm getting?
All these books, all this knowledge that is out there in the middle, out there in the digital, whichever platform that people are able to access through. The one important thing is it is always in you, because what is your vision for your life? What is your idea about where you want to be in next 5 years, next 10 years? This may sound very routine, very mechanical, very mundane, but it is very important for you to be aware of where you want to go, and importantly, what is your capability to go there.
But you
And if,
also mentioned you have to be aware of what you are at the moment. You have to be also aware of who you are at any given moment, like live the moment, but also have this manzil ki tarah, like you have a goal where you want to go to.
a simple example: if I want to become the Prime Minister of India,
Oh yeah, sure.
I
Okay.
cannot continue to work in my multinational company's job.
Mhm.
I have to go, maybe I have to create my platform in Delhi. I have to constantly work at the root causes of what are the people facing the challenges, the problems that are faced by the people. See, it has to be very clear. If I want to become a prime minister, then I better be in that environment. If I want to become a CEO of a company in California, then I better be in US. I cannot be in Delhi and dream to become a CEO of a company which is in United States. Ajay Banga, Satya Nadella, I'm sorry, Ajay Banga, Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, all these people have become CEOs of the companies in US because they have been working there in that environment. They have mastered the art of that part. Hence, they had the opportunity to become the top leadership of that companies. So it is you who will decide where you want to go, but you always have to have this, the what is your potential is not the question, but where exactly are you right now, and how do you build yourself to go there is the second, that the part of awareness.
How much part of this are you accrediting to luck as well? Being at the right time at the right place? Or do you think because of a certain quality and being the way you are, you're attracting that kind of thing? What is luck and what is like your energy, that the energy that you're exuding is the energy that attracts stuff?
I mean, luck is everything. Luck is everything. But good news is, luck is following those who are constantly working at it. You get lucky the more you work,
Yeah. Mhm.
because you're constantly knocking the doors. You will find a door a day. But if you're sitting at home doing nothing, even luck cannot help you. Luck wants to help you, but you have to create the opportunity to get lucky.
Okay, that would explain why I ended up here because I didn't plan to be an actor in India. So one of the first questions that I always get is, why did you want to come to India to be an actor? I said it. I didn't. My goal was just to be an actor, and that created opportunities because I constantly was searching online for job offers. I was constantly trying to meet people. I was constantly doing something and trying to connect through social media already at that time. So without that, so that was probably a mix between luck and
I
intent.
think you get lucky the more you work. I mean, this is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
You get luckier and luckier because you are pushing hard, you are working hard, you are burning the midnight oil, and The more you are looking at it, the more you are getting luckier. So I think that is the relationship between the luck and the hard work.
So, and the second book that you wrote is has a very interesting title. It's called Roaring of the Lambs, and
The
it
roaring
reads like a
lambs.
fairy tale, actually.
See, the roaring lambs is a typical story of a person like me, a below poverty line, a person from ground zero, maybe sub zero, a family from sub zero, now doing decently well in India and outside. It is a typical underdog story. The roaring lamb, when the lamb starts roaring, see, it is a very figurative expression. A lamb
Mhm.
cannot roar anyways. But the roar of a lamb or of an anybody is a symbolic significance of an announcement of that person is trying something. You're not giving up. The roar might not be heard beyond your four walls. The roar might not be heard beyond this street, but that is a symbolic significance of somebody's trying to be there, trying to sustain, because the life is full of challenges. It's no easy. So everyone is roaring in their own capability, in their own capacity, in their own way, in their own style. So if somebody is not strong enough mentally, physically, spiritually, in any manner, if somebody is not strong, that doesn't mean that person has no space in this planet.
No, of course not. Of course,
Everybody deserves to
everybody has
be
a
in this planet.
exactly. Yeah, because you existing already is an affirmation of you having to be.
Correct.
Otherwise, why would you be there?
So
But
the
a lot
roaring
of people
lamps.
are having they're standing in their own way. I see a lot of people struggling with just being okay that they are alive and that they are the way they are and that they have certain strengths and certain things that don't go the way they want them to go. Like especially when you're in your 20s, I think that's the time when you have a lot of self-doubt.
I think self doubt is not a bad idea, Suzanne. That I always uh, assure those who feels that okay they are in a bit of a self doubt. That's a good beginning. That's a good start for somebody who wants to try. Because self doubt, if you do not have to a certain degree, then that
Mm.
will result possibly in an arrogance or in a bit of an overconfidence, which will more or less will put you off the track most of the times.
Mhm. If it's not crippling, because some self doubt can be so crippling that somebody is saying that "अरे मैं शुरू नहीं करना है." I will not even start because आगे इतनी सारी चीजें हैं मेरा बस का नहीं है. I you know a lot of people they don't even start, they don't even try because they have such a high how do I put that? They have such a high expectation of failure that they automatically assume whatever they're going to do will not work because out of 5 times 4 times it didn't work. What
I
is
think
normal? I think that's why we need people like you who are saying all these things are normal. A self doubt is normal. Failure is normal. Connecting with people, trying again and again is normal.
okay. I mean, today in the society, people do not want to speak about failures. The reason why I'm sharing that I have started our life in a very such a humble beginning. Some people ask me, why do you want to share? Because it's not a nice feeling. Now you're doing well. Why do you want to even introduce your past? I said, no, that's okay. I mean, that is who I am, and in fact, I have benefited immensely from those experiences. If whatever I am today is probably is because of those hard experiences that really gave me an opportunity to look at the world in a much different manner. So that's one thing. So it's not crippling to have those fear of failures or self doubt or any of those things. This is why in the beginning we mentioned it is important to have somebody to tell you, to have that somebody or a couple of such people around you. You can call them mentors because these days people call them mentors. If
Hmm.
you have somebody telling you that you're doing a great job, maybe these are the areas you can pay a little more attention. and then you will really do much better in those areas. I think you need to have such a thing. This is why I always recommend it. Elon Musk, I mean, the world's richest man today, he claims even today that he has at least a dozen mentors. Dozen. I
Wow,
mean, come on,
that's a
who are
lot.
we?
I mean, do you think that in today's society, people expect everything to happen instantly, easy, like it's just falling in your lap? Like, I don't know if that has to do with social media and a certain perpetuation of a certain lifestyle, a certain, I'm just like this influencer, I'm just doing my thing, and it's so easy. I got success easy, and that is aspirational. I don't understand why, because if it's easy come, it can easy go. Plus, you don't appreciate it, do you?
Yeah, there's a bit of a changing culture. I can see that people want to become stars overnight. It does happen one in a million. Somebody's happening like that. Somebody's becoming like that. Whether it is entertainment industry or corporate industry or in any stream, there are certain individuals who are becoming overnight stars. But let us just have a look at those lives. For example, Nikhil Kamath, the financial institution, the company called Zerodha, who has become a billionaire just in the span of a pandemic. He's a young guy. I think he's worth today about $3.5 billion. He just shot to the fame within 2 3 years. His company became, but his company is not 2 3 year old. His company is about 10 year old, more than 10 years. That guy has been constantly working. He has been applying his time. He's worked all his life. I think last 15 years he has been working on that part. So people do not look at these things. They just think that this guy has become overnight star. That doesn't happen so in anybody's case. Even if that so-called one person, one in a million or one in a billion who has become a superstar overnight, if you want to really look at that person's story, you would understand there is a big lot of great deal of ordeal and hard work.
Yeah, and that's actually, if you don't work, if you don't have a purpose. I had this in some other chat, this discussion about if you are not having any purpose, you also don't go anywhere, you don't feel like energetic, you don't feel alive. You need a purpose, you need something to do. And if your only aspiration is easy money and easy lifestyle, then that becomes old fast. I think that will fall flat fast, and it might even turn against you, because we have seen young people at the peak of their success, taking that last step unnecessarily. At the height of their career, at the height of their life, something was not going the way they wanted to. Just one thing didn't go the way they wanted to, and they just, or maybe a couple of things, because we don't know why. But that so easy giving up, like, okay, bye, exit. I know it's a very uh, horrible place to be in. I know that. I know how it feels when you're in this fog and you don't know where to go. But at the same time, so easy they throw it.
I'll take two more examples, Suzanne, quick examples. One example I would like to take is the modern example is Shashi Tharoor, for example.
Hmm.
Shashi Tharoor, the author, the member of parliament, his story, if you look at, people just think that, oh, he speaks great English with a great deal of fluency. He's an orator and all that stuff. But not many people knew about his story. That he again comes from a middle class family. His father has struggled. These kids have struggled to make it big. But Shashi Tharoor has become the youngest ever PhD from a university called Fletcher's University. At the age of 22, he became a PhD.
Wow.
22 PhD, I think even today it still stands a record.
Wow.
So not many people know. Okay, Shashi Tharoor lived in somewhere in United Nations. He worked in United Nations, so his ability to speak English is very good. Blah blah blah. That's it. No, Mr. Shashi Tharoor has an elephant memory. He worked so hard. He became a PhD at the age of 22. That speaks about this person's hard work. Now, the
Mhm.
second example I will take the people to, let's say, 80, 90 years back. Jawaharlal Nehru.
Okay.
Jawaharlal Nehru, people think that, oh, he became prime minister. But he was a freedom fighter. He gave his wealth for the country. And then he did a lot of sacrifices for the nation, for the freedom struggle. And then he became a prime minister. Now, I will take another great example, Mr. Narendra Modi, our prime minister, current prime minister. What is his background? If somebody wants to understand, Mr. Narendra Modi was a ordinary, just like me, he was an ordinary chaiwala, for example. He began his life as. And he was an ordinary karyakarta, who's an ordinary political worker, like very basic, the bottom of the pyramid. Political pyramid is the bottom of the pyramid. That's where he began with. Today, he became one of the powerful most leaders of the world, not just India. But if you look at all these people, I took three examples. One, young Shashi Tharoor, who is modern, Mr. Narendra Modi, who is modern leader, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, who is from no, in 60s and 50s. If you look at these people, everybody comes with one commonality, that is they have worked literally hard. They have sacrificed a lot. They have built this superb life. Today they are like super iconic and iconic figures for the country, is because look at the journey that they have gone through. So there is no overnight superstar. I mean, going back, I was connecting to that superstar overnight. There is no such superstar overnight. Everybody is working hard, and it has to be that way.
So maybe they are just like portraying not these three leaders. I'm just saying in general, if somebody is saying overnight success, one has to like look a little bit because maybe it's just also a promotional thing. Like I know about stories where they were faking, oh, we just saw this girl on the road and we just picked her up and she became the heroine of the movie. Yeah, nothing like that. Five, 600 auditions and God knows how many people they looked at. And but it sounds nice, you know. It's one of these sapna, dream, aspirational things, making it look easy. I have another question for you about.
Go
You
ahead.
mentioned three men. Um, how do you see the ratio man women and success? Do you think women are seeing their success more in a different sphere where it is not so obvious to the outside? Because I think every woman who runs a household and has two children is successful.
Okay, women in India are incomparable with other parts of the world, especially the advanced worlds of the planet. To me, women in India are highly successful. A, because they're raising a family, they're raising all these kids, like dozens of people at home. Sometimes, okay, it is a nucleus family, maybe 3 to 4 members. In a way, woman is obviously a very special person, but when it comes to, if you want to compare, in terms of success,
Mhm.
I think women are far more successful in India than anybody. And also, luckily, we have great examples. I mean, we have had one of the most powerful prime ministers, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, and then current finance minister. Probably she is one of the top 10 powerful, most influencing leaders, Nirmala Sitaraman. So if
Yeah,
you
I mean,
look at
if you look at politicians from Sushma Swaraj to Smriti
Sushma
Irani, I think
Swaraj, yeah, I'm just taking two different examples. Sushma Swaraj, we have many such
we
names,
have so many, and that's
many
why
such
that's
names.
a nice. That's a nice argument as well when everybody is talking about, from the West when they come with a certain kind of perception where they're saying, "Oh, girls are not wanted." What I don't. It of course it happens. It's a big country. Yeah, I know, but generally I see dads being elated when they have a girl, like they're over the top when they have a girl, and I see a lot of very successful women.
See the culture. There is still a cultural challenge. I mean, we can't just make sweeping statements in terms of the successful women in India, especially. There's a cultural issue, but I think the modern society is changing a lot. They're allowing girls to study higher, and they're allowing girls to explore the world. I can take one another example who's supposed to be one of the most famous personality, Indra Nui, the ex-chairman of the PepsiCo. Can you just imagine one of the most coveted brands in the world were Coke and Pepsi, and Indra Nui was at the helm of the things for more than 2 3 decades. She was the
Yeah.
CEO. She was the chairman of PepsiCo, the worldwide, and she went from India, and a woman from India to lead such an organization, which is one of the most wanted brand on the earth. Just imagine, women are always very powerful. They're great decision makers. Um, in fact, at my own home, I have a very strong woman at home who is actually helping all of us perform very well. Who is my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, who is a matriarchal figure to our family, who runs the family's affairs. I think I see it at home, I see it at the country level, and I see it everywhere. Women are probably the most powerful thinkers in terms of thinking ability. They're very, very good, decisive, I must say.
Do you think that this is having to do with a certain upbringing, or even going to the Sanatan Dharma and the like Durga and the other goddesses that you're having? That from if you are being exposed to that kind of culture and these kinds of images, that it's automatically instilling a certain kind of image in a girl or in a boy towards the girl. It's giving a certain kind of start.
As I mentioned, India is still evolving. Not only India, but the whole world is still evolving because recently there was an argument by the women players tennis. Women players tennis, Wimbledon, they're not being paid equally.
Mm.
Forget about
Yeah.
India. So the payment, there is an inequality, and it is there right from the most advanced nation in terms of the rules of multinational company or the corporate rules, which is Switzerland in my case, Sweden, Switzerland, Germany for that sake, India. You take any country, there is still not pay equality between women and men. So it is unfair for us to bring only India in this light. However, if we have to take the Indian context, yes, we have always glorified the women with a lot of characters such as Goddess Durga, Goddess Lakshmi, Goddess Saraswati, which is education part. However, Indian society is still evolving. There are places where you see the women domination, but there are not many places where women is able to dominate.
Mm.
She's not given equal opportunity. But today, I'm hopeful that India is still evolving in that case. That is why we are still not considering ourselves as the first world, unfortunately, because this also plays a big role when women are given equal opportunity and equal pay, for example.
Yeah, but you say evolving, maybe it is more a way of going back what used to be.
I didn't get that. Can you just elaborate a
No,
bit?
I'm thinking that the way India used to be before it was invaded and before others were coming from the outside, I think there were very strong females all over and very
Correct.
equal with males, having the same kind of power, the same kind of knowledge, the same kind of decision-making capabilities. So maybe it's more going back to roots and looking at where India is coming from, and in that way evolving.
Yeah, I mean, from the Hindu scriptures and Vedas and all this, if you take women are always considered to be the most powerful. The very origin of this earth that one faith calls it is from women, Adishakti.
Mm.
The reason that itself should guide India to respect, to give more opportunities, and to keep them equals. But then the reality is that is not still happening for
Yeah, of
various
course. That
reasons.
I don't think we will ever reach an ideal world. I don't think it is. It is a nice dream, but I don't think reality will bring this ever because we are not coming with the same set of skills, the same genetics, same capability of thinking. So that's, I don't think so that will
But
ever
India
happen.
has
But
enough
there is
cultural
potential to
heritage.
have. Yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
potential to have to
No,
make it
India
for
has
a lot of
enough.
people.
Sorry, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
India, I'm saying that India has enough legacy, enough cultural history of having the women at the top of the world. And I hope India will actually go back, like you rightly mentioned. Would we be able to go to that era where women are considered the highest? Probably yes. I think it is only sensible for us to be in that hope.
Um, by the way, success. Do you see India as a success story? Do you see India going ahead? And you're back in India yourself,
Now I'm talking to you from India, but no, I'm still based in Dubai.
but you're still based in Dubai. But you're home
I'm
in both of
traveling
India.
between, yes.
You travel in between. Okay. So do you see this as a success story? Because if we look at the economic situation, even after COVID and at other points, do you think that India is heading towards a success story and it's because people are applying some of the rules that you're talking about, where they are relying on each other and it's teamwork and one vision?
I think it's a great question, Suzanne, and I am so very happy to talk about this question. India is doing tremendously well. Especially in the last decade, India has been unstoppable except for 1 year. If you look at the numbers, from 2014 to 2023, except for 2020, where we did a -8 growth rate. But otherwise, all the 8 years we have done between 6 and 9, which is on an average, we did a 6% growth rate in last 9 years. That also gives us a good example, which is evident. Yesterday, Economic Times was talking about it, that India was able to do the tolerance level of the inflation for the last 9 years within the tolerance level. RBI has spoken about it. Yesterday, Economic Times was talking about it in detail. And India's growth rate in next 2 years, according to IMF, is more than 7%, which is the number one across the globe. India is actually the future. So I'm not discarding or disregarding the Indian rise in last 75 years. So whether it is BJP or Congress, there have been always good leaders and good decisions. Some are not good decisions, some are good decisions. So India, I think, always has benefited with the demographic dividend, which is the youth. The percentage of youth is so very essential and crucial for India that India is always ahead in terms of demographic dividend, with which that demographic dividend is not just by the number, but it is also very aspiring. They're ambitious. They want to. Example is Sreedhar Bevara.
Yeah.
People are ambitious to do well in the life. So if you have a demographic dividend, which is the percentage of youth in the country, which is one of the highest in the world, and they are what happens when they're aspiring, when they're ambitious to do well in the life, that country is unstoppable. That country turns unstoppable, and luckily there is a government which is actually nurturing that part, wherein they are actually helping us by giving good infrastructure. Because if you want to do things, you need to have a good infrastructure. So
Yeah, definitely. Alone
yeah.
in 2020, they were able to build a lot of roads and a lot of stuff was happening in 2020 that I didn't even know about. We got to know after the fact because of COVID. We were thinking nothing is happening, and then suddenly, voila, there's a new highway and there's a new bridge and there's a new this, and then we're like, huh, when did this happen? I was sitting at home with my mask and I couldn't go anywhere. So that was quite the infrastructure trick that they did.
So yeah, see, one a country is supposed to be a developed country when it has good road work, network, rail network, air network, and they have good primary education. They have good primary health system. I think India is actually beating a lot of odds and proving a lot of naysayers wrong by actually racing towards betterment. India will soon be $5 trillion economy. Now already we are the third largest economy, and we will join soon the bigger economies between US and China. It won't take more than a decade for us to be in that league.
Yeah. Wow. I always hear these numbers and I'm getting a little chuckle and just hearing it. So they're like 30 trillion. What? Get out of here. So yeah, it's great to be in this country. It feels very exciting to be here. And as you said, it was a build up over the years. More and more was happening until we came to this point where it is actually going a little bit like a Zoom. I have seen a lot of change since I have come here. I have seen directly from PCO, where you had to go and give some money so you could call somebody, directly to mobile phones, and now us talking like this.
See, I have something to say about those who always want to complain, those who always want to
Yes,
be
please,
negative about it. I want to
please.
tell them that there is no country which does not have challenges in hand. Those who want to speak about United States today, those who want to highlight United States is the mother of democracies, no, they are so forward, they are this, they are that. They do not read the history. Yes, United States has a better democracy in terms of the value system behind the democracy. There's no doubt about it. However, if people are paying little attention when they look at the histories of each nation, they will understand each country is evolving.
Mm,
What was 50 years ago United States? Probably okay. We are what was United States 30 years ago is what India today.
mm,
In 1920s there was boot liquor. The liquor used to be smuggled because those times liquor was banned.
mm,
The mafia, the drug, everything was happening in the United States. And then people talk about racism. Racism is everywhere, even in India, even in United States. It is only a matter of times.
mm.
United States, 1960s. The famous speech of "I Have a Dream,"
Yeah.
the Martin Luther King Jr. "I Have a Dream." That was in 1953, I believe. And then that speech was, I think, one of the most fascinating speeches by Martin Luther King. And he talked about what he wanted. I have a dream when a white kid is joining hands with a black kid, walking together in a safe environment, is what that he was proposing. But then Abraham Lincoln has abolished the Negro community part way long ago. Why Martin Luther King was fighting in 1950s? So what I'm trying to say is each country comes with a lot of challenges, especially when there are different faiths are living together, different ideologies are living together. So I'm not saying India is free of everything. India is like a heaven. India doesn't have any problem. No, India has enough problems in hand, but India's capability is to keep India as one nation in a pretty much harmony against those who wanted us to fail. But we won't fail, I think. I'm guaranteeing you, India will never fail. They will continue to live together, coexist together well, and they are a fabulous, harmonious nation on the planet. There is no competition in terms of India.
Yes, a wonderful, yeah, actually closing remark, if you don't mind, because I find this was very inspiring to listen to this last bit, and I feel like that should whoever listens to the whole conversation of ours should take this inspirational moment and take it home and think about this a little bit. And maybe also look for information. I just wanted to add information is very important. The more we know, the more we can realize what other people are trying to tell us, what is not the truth.
Absolutely. All I would like to say is that there is no limit because the manifestation begins in your mind. If you want to build something, if you want to dream about something, I think that manifestation must come from within because the beginning seed is from you. When you have your own dream, that dream doesn't have to be limited. It can be someone wanting to become the prime minister of the company, a country, someone wanting to become the chief executive officer of a company called Google or Microsoft or Twitter for that matter. So anything is possible. However, one must always constantly do the check balances. Where exactly am I? What is my capability? How good am I to collaborate? Because I need more forces to grow faster. So, who are all can go with me? And why would they go with me? What is that value add that I'm creating for them? So, it is a big planning, but that all starts from your own dream. But once you dream, once you manifest an idea, then you have to really put your heart and blood and sweat and everything possible that you have to give, and do not get into despair mode because it takes time. That is the reality. If I'm talking to you, Suzanne, today, it is some 40 years of life. On the back of 40 years of life, I'm talking to you.
Mm.
The hardships when I was young, or my work experience of last 30 years. So today I'm able to speak like this is only because that I've gone through certain phase. So there is no overnight success that people can expect. If somebody is expecting like that, I think they will be thoroughly disappointed. You've
Yeah.
got to give time. You've got to be organic at the things that you're doing. Sometimes you get lucky because you're knocking doors in a very timely manner, because timing is very important. The place is very important. If you want to become prime minister, you better be in Delhi, not in Visakhapatnam or not in Mumbai, like Suzanne is there. Suzanne, to become a great artist, a great star in India, she's living in the right place, which is Mumbai.
Mm.
I believe that is her conscious choice to be in Mumbai, because that is the capital of the entertainment world of India. So she can't be in Visakhapatnam or she can't be in Dubai dreaming to become an actress in India. So I
Yeah.
think people have to look at what they want to be and how they want to become there. So I think
And
this
have a
is very important.
mentor. And have a mentor or 12 like Elon Musk.
We all have. I'm lucky to have some great people as mentors. Like Dr. Kiran Bedi is one among them. Dr. Shashi Tharoor is one among them. I have some fascinating people. Uh,
Great.
yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for giving your time. Thanks for and yeah, sorry again about the funny beginning, but I think it turned out very nice. I enjoyed this a lot. I am taking a lot home from this chat with you. And on this note, thanks for everybody for watching. And I have linked Sridhar's information in the caption. You can follow him on Twitter. You can follow him on Instagram. And see you next time.
Thank you so much, Suzanne, once again, and for this opportunity and invite. And I hope we get to talk again. There are many stories that we could talk about.
Yes, definitely. If you guys like this chat, if you want to see more of Sridhar and me talking, please leave that in the comment section, right? So we get to know about it. Okay,
Thank
bye.
you all. Have a great day and wish you all the best. Thank you.